What's wrong with them?
Mm-hmm.
So there was a woman who basically was on the Tonight's Conversation pod. Shout out to the Tonight's Conversation. They're coming to Augusta, Georgia soon. I think around September they're gonna have Lance Gross on it, who was on this episode actually. So she basically said, "Hey, what do you do when you falling out of love with your husband?" And she went on to explain that basically, things haven't been going great between them. I think the nigga lost his job, or and he's been dealing for like a year, and basically her ex, who is basically pregnant with another woman, basically wants her back, and she's thinking about being basically back with him. And everyone basically was like, "This silly ass bitch. What's wrong with these hoes, y'all?" I'm gonna be honest. Lance Gross said some real shit when he said, "Baby, that's not even a season." I think, man, it's so crazy in relationships and especially like in marriages, you know, where it just seemed like we just in a society now where we just give up on shit so easily. And I think that's one of the reasons why we don't see marriages as much as we used to back in the day. Because people's patience and their duty to marriage ain't what it used to be. Because that was crazy that it's like, damn, man, that nigga only been dealing with that for a year. Like, niggas be laid off longer than a year. Like, this is the reason why I feel like if you with a man because of his financial situation, if you with a man for money, that marriage is not, a relationship is not going to work out. Because I've had partners that's been laid off and they bounced back and got better jobs. I've had partners that's been fired and they bounced back and got better jobs. I've been in situations where I didn't like what was going on at my current job, and I left for a job where I took less money, but I knew I would make more money in a year or two. So I had to basically take a step back to move forward. Like, there's so much that can happen in a financial situation. I've talked to people who give me rides, like Uber drivers and Lyft drivers who've been married for 15, 20, 30 years, and told me that they started Ubering and Lyfting because they had an injury. They worked in a factory, had an injury, couldn't work for 6 months. They're back at work, but they enjoy Ubering, so they do both now. Like, it's just so much that can happen in a man's financial situation. It's just the equivalent of a man. If you with a woman because she the baddest bitch on the planet, at some point in time, she ain't gonna be the baddest bitch forever now. At some point in time, Beyonce was the baddest chick in the game. Jay-Z did have the baddest chick in the game wearing his chain. Newsflash, in 2026, Jay-Z don't got the baddest chick in the game wearing his chain. Beyonce is not the baddest chick in the game no more. But that ain't the only reason he got with that hoe. Like, he got with Beyonce for plenty of reasons, and they got their marriage, and they doing what they doing, whatever the fuck they got going on over there. So, I mean, because it could just be a lavender marriage. That nigga Jay-Z could be gay. We don't know. But the point is, they happy, at least on the surface. So at the end of the day, like, when I see situations like this, it do just remind me of, especially the women in 2026, especially black women. It just seems like they so quick to go for the next shiny thing, and they're not necessarily thinking about the work they have to put in their relationship. Because we talk so much about the work a man has to put in. Like a man having to water his grass, cut his grass, and not go to the greener grass. And we don't talk enough about how women, you need to look at the house you have and understand, I have a beautiful house. I just need to redecorate it better. I just need to clean up better. But if I do everything I'm supposed to do, it's a 5-bedroom house, 3 baths and everything. But because I don't put the type of furniture I need to put in here, I don't put the type of carpet and curtains in here, I don't clean them like I'm supposed to, the house looks like shit. But the house next door is not as nice as your house. It just looks better because on the inside, the person who lives in the house takes way better care of the interior of the house. Like, a lot of times we just don't look at life just that simple sometimes.
Like, I don't think that's just a woman or a male thing. Granted, I know for the sake of the podcast, it is women, but I think that's in general. If people worried about what the hell they got going on in their own four corners before they start running around trying to figure out what everybody else got going on, what's better out there. The only reason why you're comparing is because you're trying to look at it, you're trying to compete, you're trying to focus on what you got right around you. Any situation could always be better, but any situation can always be worse. It's just the luck of your gamble. It's your choices. I don't think anybody really think about. I think a lot of times immature people don't think about their actions. or the consequences of their actions. But I also think in this particular situation, people that are unfulfilled, whether it be a woman or a man, they're always going to look for something better outside of what they already got. Some area of their life they unfulfilled. Maybe Shorty do got the wettest, but she's stupid. And I hang out with Shorty over here and we have intellectual conversations. Or maybe he is a good person and he's a church guy and he's a this and he's a that, but he don't want to have sex and I do. We ain't even on the same page. I think that a lot of times we go out, we make these commitments with people, and then the moment it don't fit our ideal of what we think it should be, that's when that starts looking out. Now, where you mess up is when you do it and you don't be honest with people. Just be honest. Tell somebody. I think a lot of times Shorty would put more curtains up and stuff like that. If somebody said, hey, and not just your friends, your spouses, this raggedy. Whatever you're doing is raggedy. Tell them. So either they're gonna fix it or they're gonna say, now I'm comfortable with that. If they comfortable with it and you ain't, then there go your answer. So I feel like it's layers to it. I feel like we can always deviate down just to women versus men. Not saying that that's the case, but in general, when you look at it for people in general, yeah, it's not a surprise. This is the same story we just telling it with a different scenario.
Yeah, I know the girl that pooped. You said she was smoking crack. This lady had to be smoking sun.
Yeah.
And because it wasn't a cigarette, she was smoking sun. She was on some dope. Because
she wasn't. She just delusional.
And they roasted her. They roasted her so bad, like did you really just get up there and say this dumb stuff? And they roasted her so bad, and she deserved to get roasted like that. Like she was rotisserie chicken up there. She was a bird too. Yeah. So it's like it was.
She just was who she is. That's her.
And it's like, and he don't even deserve her. Like he deserves better than that because they was trying to say that. They was saying like you need to go back and you need to make sure, but buddy, you deserve better, man. You deserve better.
I mean, unfortunately, man, she wasn't smoking nothing because there's a lot of women in 2026. That's how they view relationships with men through the lens of financial because they have that conversation all the time. There's a lot of times where a man is going through financial hardship and the women don't want to stick around and don't believe she need to stay there, and it's just one of those situations where it's like. Man, we in 2026, women are no longer marrying for love and they're not in relationships for love most of the time. Because if you really care about someone and you're trying to be someone's partner, like you're going to understand there's ups and flows, man. There's ups and downs.